My name is Zoe, and I'm a Chinese and a woman, seem to be at least. And I do front end in Pleo. I didn't prepare a slide, but you know, we are hiring. And I'm a late bloomer for tech, because I was really late. But anyways, I used to work in different roles. I was working in KTV, if you know what KTV is, and I worked in Nike as a worker. Not a very decent role. And I also didn't have a tech background before I became a developer. I also worked as shop staff. And I dropped out from high school. Just to give you an idea where I was from. So this is a Chinese map. Can you see that from behind? Okay. So I'm from this ping. It's in the South China. And when people ask me, I usually give them the idea that this is Hong Kong, and this is Guangdong, and this is Jiangxi. So, you know, my poor geography. And this is the town I grew up with, and we have a long river branch. So fortunately, I can swim. So I split it in my story into 3 chapters just for you to have a record. And I will start with my first. So I just said I dropped out from high school. What happened then? Yes, animation. And this is alphabet, English alphabet, if you can see that. So the first thing I dropped out from high school was that I started working because I need to feed myself. But then, so I started working in those roles you just saw to just make a living. But then I started thinking, so what should I do next? I cannot just work in the factory and just let it last forever. So I was thinking to myself, okay, what can be my killer skill? And so at that time, okay, still this time in China, the English level is still not super high, definitely far from here in Europe. So I was thinking, okay, English could be a very useful thing. So I started learning English. So I was because of that idea, I became really, really crazy. How crazy? So give you a story. So I was buying shoes the other day in a shop, and then there came a guy, a black guy, not being racist, but a black guy. And I was thinking, oh, that's a foreigner. I have to talk to this guy. So what should I say? What's your name? What is your shoe size? It's in the shoe shop, right? And I just generated a conversation before I could go over and then speak. Fortunately, we became friends. He didn't think I was weird, and so it was really very high intensity of passion to learn English, and so I kind of got it, I think. But still, this is the job market at that time. Can you see me in that picture? I can't. So it was in 2008, and then at that year there was 5.59 million graduates, and it's increasing by 10% every year. So at that year, 45% got job. So I was competing with 5 million other students to get a job. And so how does it feel like? It was basically like this. Animation. Lots of interviews. So I tried to get a job as international sales. I got that inspiration from my first roommate. And then so I tried to become an international sales by going to sending out a lot of a CV and then trying to get to talk to people. And I still remember there was one guy. He's the owner of a trading company on textiles. So he was asking me, so you don't have a degree, you don't have related experience, you don't have your English is also not so good because I wasn't. And so why should I hire you? And I was saying I was young and naive. I was saying I can learn. I learn fast. It was really good and maybe convincing, but I didn't get a job. So, and so I was like this, except I'm yellow, not white. So trying to get a job. At the end, I got a job in a factory not as an international sales, but as an assistant for international sales manager. So it was like good enough. And then I started my rock star life. Not really, but I started my real job. Then one day we went to the Canton Fair, which is the biggest import and export fair. So if you ever do this kind of like international sales with China, you probably will need to go to that fair because it's the biggest one, right? So I was just following my manager to go there, and I was super eye-opened, I would say, because it was in Guangzhou, a big city, and then it was the first time I saw like not millions, but like hundreds of foreigners in front of me. I was like, my God, this is my jungle, but like at least safari, right? So how crazy I became. I was like basically standing in the middle of the hallway, and then try to pass everybody who passed by our brochure. And that doesn't work just for information, because it's not to see, it's not to customer, it's to business. And business usually have like a very clear goal, what products they're sourcing, right? So I was like just I was basically treating them as like like individual customer. But that also won me an opportunity to meet my later boss. I mean the boss after that factory. So they were a Venezuelan company who wants to build a brand in their country. So they need to source a lot of products, and they needed someone to do that for them. So I was offered a job, and then he told me that it was really because of my, I don't know, like passion. He phrased it that way, passion. So he wanted to work with me. But if you know a lot about international politics, then you would know, like during 2012 and 2013, at that time, Venezuela wanted, like the president of Venezuela died, and then the new president wanted to make a communism society. So they just shut down all the import, even though they don't have anything produced inside of the country. So the situation became like the people had to queue up to buy toilet paper. Of course, the business also like just stopped. So my boss offered me like 1 more month or 2 more months of salary and said, okay, goodbye. Then, this is a pun, by the way, I encountered next change. So I started thinking, so now, as I thought, like English gave me some opportunity. What next? And here comes my chapter 2. Technology. It's a robot, I know. Technology. I was just thinking, okay, it's like a buzzword. Technology can change my life, but I didn't really know what that means. But I started looking into this field, and I saw this job opportunity. That is like a German guy and a Hongkongese woman. They wanted to start a business related to VR. Really, it was just related to VR. Like they didn't even know what they wanted to do, but they posted really nice job advertisement. Really, really good. And I wanted that job so much because they had coffee machine. I'm serious, because like not every company has a coffee machine in China, okay? So I tried really hard to get that job, but like in that time, like lots of people applied to them, because like lots of young people are like me. They have very fuzzy dream. They want to pursue something, and when someone like throwing out some carrot, they just want to kind of jump over. So after the interview, they told me that they're going to announce who's going to get that job in the next coming week. And I was like, no, that's a bad news, because like that means I probably don't have a chance. Then I just wrote them an email, said like, I would like to buy myself a ticket to go to your city and we have a face-to-face talk. And they kind of moved by my word. So they said, okay, so we will invite you over, and if you don't get a job, we would like to compensate you your train ticket. So I went over and had a really like nice conversation, and I got a job because I hugged them. It was real, because I really hugged them when I arrived, and then my German boss said like, you surprised me so much by hugging me. So And then I started like working in like a lot of roles because it's a very small startup. Except for like this couple, there was me and another guy. So we basically like a 4-people company trying to build something that try to solve some problem. But you know, like for startup, like it's really difficult to kind of have a right product. So we changed a lot of like times. The direction of a product. But I was like doing everything except for like technical role. So that's my technology. I was doing like really lots of different things. I applied for patent. I converted like the company's nature from yeah, it's boring. But like I also like monitored the office construction. I just did a bunch of like different things that I didn't know that I could do. And I learned this approach, like a can-do approach. So then I realized that with the systematic method, you can do everything. Because you just need to step by step. We are like machines. We can do stuff if you have some very clear order. But this is a good one. The ship sinks. So the business idea didn't work out, and it was like almost 3 years. And I did so many things, but there wasn't too much left. So I was thinking to myself, wait, what did I do? Like technology. I wasn't working in technology at all, except for I helped like building the IT supply chain. But I didn't even touch the computer. I mean, I touched computer, of course. I mean, I didn't really do anything technology-wise. So here comes my chapter 3. I know you've been waiting so long. I was really thinking to myself again, because actually like in 2015, I already touched a bit of code. I attended like a Rails Girls workshop, like 2-day workshop. You learn a bit of HTML, CSS, and maybe JavaScript, but not really. But you just like everyone else, you have some good idea. You think that's a good thing to do, and you have everything prepared. But then you just lack the motivation because it's scary, right? Oh, forgot this one. Dun dun, like my 2 robots. So this means like this idea just shakes even like more. So what do I want to do if I believe technology can change my life? So after I touched a bit of coding, I was also like learning something online. I was also like just thinking to myself, this is actually quite scary. So here comes the job market again, and again I cannot see myself, right? Because like when you study like this idea, you're also realizing that there are so many students or like IT workers that out there they are competing with you, and you have nothing. What I did was that I didn't think it anymore, because the more I think, the more scary it became. And then I just started like, yes. I just started like really learning hard, like studying hard. I was like doing, so here's your trick. So I was like watching a lot of like tutorials with a two times speed. It's very energetic, I tell you. Because like people speak like this. Today we are going to, but with 2 times speed, it's like today we are going to, see. And then I was like reading a lot of like articles and code and blah blah. But like every day my mood is just like converting from like I'm gonna do this today to fuck, so many people are like competing with me. But the other good thing is like I found my like community. Since I came to Denmark, I actually started like attending CopenhagenJS. I only missed twice. I counted. And then I also, so I also found some other people who were like in the similar situation, which is, he's not here today, but he's not here today. So I met this guy, Christopher, in CopenhagenJS last May, and I got to know that there's such a program called like Hack Your Future, which actually helps people who are in need to learn web development. And I really wanted to be in, but he told me that the application stopped. And I didn't give up. I wrote him a really lengthy letter about who I am, what I have been through, where I come from, blah, blah, blah. And he still said, just wait for next time. I was like, okay. And then in last June, CopenhagenJS, I saw him again. So I shamelessly went up and just gave him a very subtle smile. And then he said, we might have something opening. And then I started like really like joining the program. What that? Okay. So, and during the learning, both by myself and with other people, I realized something that can like help you to continue when you are like learning something new, or when you are like doing something that you feel like it's going to be hard and you feel scared. The first thing is like when you like the motivation. Where does the motivation come from? I think it's from achievement. You look at every piece of achievement you have done, and then you get like energy out of it. And don't try to like compare yourself. Okay, I'm not there yet. So motivation comes from achievement. And next thing is like I know it's very frustrating when you try to do something and you don't get what you expected. But I think communication. I mean, what is communication? Like you talk with people. You ask them. So did you have this problem? How did you manage it? And then this way you will realize that. Everybody does. Everybody has that. Everybody has this frustration, and also like reach out for guidance. So during my time to like learning, I asked a lot of people. I still remember like when I made my first CV, I sent to like more than 10 people and asked them to give me feedback. And then usually people are helpful. And last thing. Not last thing, but like, so I also think that showing gratitude is also very, very important. Because like when you are in need and people help you and you just like behave like a jerk, I think people would notice that as well. So I contribute back. I try to help back. And I try to find things that people would need help with. And I give that. So people would think, this person is like he or she, is great, like is grateful. Yeah, grateful. Okay, here comes the most valuable part. Takeaway. So first thing is that like I think you should always compare to yourself yesterday, not others, because when you compare yourself to others, you always just like kind of push yourself down. There's no good result from that. Even if you are better than others, you can always find better ones. But compare to yourself to the yesterday, because you are improving. As long as you're doing it, you are improving. And that's a good thing. And second thing is that like good and bad, no, this is not a code, okay? This is not code. I promise that there was only one side. So good and bad can convert. So when I met my Venezuelan boss, it was really good. I was like working 3 hours per week. I was like really living like a queen, but then the country just like shut down. So it was really like you felt like really bad. But then because of that, I started thinking about my next step. So here I come to walk to all this path to today, and I feel good. So good, bad, they always convert. I actually talked about it. When you feel like frustrating, when you feel scared, it's fine because you're not alone. Because I've talked to so many people and they always go through the same process. You always feel that, but it's not just you. And very important, do it before you give up. Because the more you think about it, the more likely you're gonna give up. Just do it. Last thing. Because I'm going to have the last slide. Last thing is someone shared with me that acquiring a new skill, the biggest obstacle of acquiring a new skill is not coming from intellect. It's always coming from emotion. And that's it.